Alright, welcome back, guys. So, we are here today to take a look at not what I said we were going to take a look at. We're actually going to change over some of this oil. So, I changed this already, so our fuel is going that way to work on both of the trains. Put this back up here instead of down here. Got rid of all that coal and ran a split one over here to take care of these two boilers for this oil processing. And I was taking a look at this one that is running off of oil and steam to make us kerosene, which is 200 crude oil to 140 kerosene. But we are doing down here in this one now, over here, we are doing 180 crude oil, which is giving us 80 kerosene, along with acid gas, heavy oil, and petroleum. And we are actually backed up on our kerosene as we are backed up here as well, because we have 383K of desulfonized kerosene and almost 500K of acid water, which we are currently not needing for our crystals because we have tons of them. And I was going to take a look at the crusher today and this industrial glass recipe, but I think we're going to save that for the next one. I noticed down here we have sulfur-based oil processing, carbon-based oil processing, and carbon-based kerosene processing. So I want to get all three of these done. So we're going to start on that one, and I'll work through all three of them. But no matter what we end up doing, we're going to get rid of this. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one out of here, and then we'll use that to upgrade to the new one when I go grab some concrete, obviously. And we're also going to use kerosene as well to make solid fuel. I was looking in FNEI over here, and we can turn 20 kerosene into one solid fuel, where we're only doing 10 light fuel, but we need light fuel to make that fuel down there. So I'm thinking what we're going to do actually is probably use our kerosene for the light fuel, and then or for the solid fuel, and then maybe just use the light fuel for the fuel cell thing that we're doing. So let me grab some concrete, which I really need to get a. Why don't we get that done while we're up here? I'm going to make a chest here. I'm going to take both of them out. Well, why don't I just put it back here? That would make just a little bit more sense. And then we can do that. And that should keep up with it just fine. I do still need to make more of these, but I think for right now we'll be okay with it. Let's go ahead and upgrade that one. And let's go set up another one of these. Well, I may not set up another one yet. I'm very undecisive on this. But the main thing I do want to do is the kerosene up here to where it cracks into the desulfonized kerosene and acid water. So we want to do solid fuel out of our kerosene, which I'm probably going to set up about 4 of these. Then is it in? Should be in here, I think. But since it's added by here, I would think it would be. Oh, wait a minute. This is probably done in a chemical reactor, isn't it? Let's look and see here. Solid fuel using kerosene. Yep. It's in a chemical plant. That's why I can't find it. So I need iron gears to do that. I could have had them while I was up there, but I believe we have oil or iron down here for something. Yeah, right there. And hey, we have electrical furnaces. I still don't think we really need them. And hey, I already had one of them. Well, let's go ahead and set up 2 of them for right now. Oh, I also changed this over. I hooked all these up. The heavy fuel, I went ahead and put a pump on. That way it would pump it out and keep it cleaned out completely, so it would keep this tank full. That way we had plenty for our lubricant and cracking down to make the light oil. As of right now, that light oil is the only thing holding these from running, which we will probably be turning off. Go ahead and do that. And we want that to be is it in this one? Yeah, there it is. So that is, no, that's a desulfonizer. We don't want the desulfonizer, we want regular kerosene. And since those are having the same input, we can just put them right next to each other. And then we can run that over there. Connect it up like that. And we'll just put that all the way across because we probably will be adding a few more of them at some point. And that goes at a pretty decent speed, which is nice. And we'll just have these go together onto our belt. Bring it down here. And send that across and connect there. And I still haven't quite decided if I'm changing that or not, but I think we will. It all depends on how. I think I'm going to kind of keep an eye on it and see. For right now, we'll leave it this way, see how we do on that light fuel. Because if we start changing over and getting away from these, we might end up needing more light fuel, since all of our light fuel is coming from our heavy fuel now, if we decide to get rid of these. But that'll keep us better in solid fuel, and that'll also allow this to run as well. And let's take a look now at that acid gas, because that is something new that we didn't have before, and we can turn it directly into sulfur and water with steam in a chemical plant, And currently we're using our petroleum gas to make our sulfur. We have this one here, and then we have these two over here. So I think we're going to change them over to using the acid gas instead. But I'm going to do it a little bit different. Instead of changing it over, I'm going to make one that specifically does the acid gas before we get to them. Is that the... yeah, that's the aluminum ceramic alloy. So let me go up there and grab a bit of this. And I do believe that I'm going to autocraft those after this episode, because we'll be using them a lot. Alright, so we're no longer going to need this boiler here. And we are going to need this. So we need to get our kerosene sent up there as well. Let's go ahead and run this up and get it connected here. There we go. And then that will take care of keeping this running for us, so we can keep our acidic water. So we have plenty of that for our crystals. And I think we can kind of reuse this for making our sulfur. So if I put that there and we set it to that, that's the wrong one. The one that's over here. Okay, so that wants it to be on the opposite side. We'll move it up to about there. And that's going to give us water, which needs to go into there. So we need to get the acid gas here, and oh yeah, I need to hook our power back up here, which I think I'm actually going to do this, because I do not like having power ran from one place to another where it can be broke just by me changing it. So switch that over like that. If I do multiple of these, we can run them out this way and they should be fine. And we'll just have this come across here, which shouldn't get in the way of those. Now we need to get this, which will run up this way. I'm just having a second guessing here. I'm thinking that with this being something that comes down here, that I might want to do it over here or down here, and then send the sulfur up there. Yeah, I think that'll be a better option, actually, instead of doing it up here. So we'll just take this out of here, which means that we can straighten this out. like that. This will still need to be in here for bringing our water there, so we'll just leave that where it is. And we have our sulfur-based oil. So now let's get our carbon-based. And I think we'll probably actually check out those in the next one, since we've kind of been stuck on oil stuff here for the last little bit. So if I put that there, and we do that, then this would need to come down to here. And we can go ahead and put the boiler in. By the way, this is something else that I would love to see this mod do, is give us, we have that crusher. I've only ever seen one other mod that does it, but it would be really cool, especially since you kind of have to start with this, but then you move on to better ways of making power. If we could get rid of these by crushing them down, because they're literally just made with iron. If we even got, 50% of the iron back, it would be really nice, just so we're not wasting all that iron on something that's we're probably never going to use again. I think it was Industrial Revolution that actually did that, if I'm remembering correctly. Now granted, that mod has a strange mechanic where you upgrade everything, basically. You go from, you don't, I guess it's not you upgrade everything. You don't use the previous tier, like what you do in almost everything else in Factorio, where if you go from a tier 1 to a tier 2, you usually use what's in tier 1. That one doesn't actually do it. So when you go from bronze to iron, you gotta remake everything. So it kind of has a reason why it has that feature, but it's a feature I really enjoy. Nonetheless. Alright, so we need to get that. Yeah, we're gonna lose a little bit, unfortunately. That over here, and hook it up there. Let's get a light down here so we're not dealing with this. Oh yeah, that moves nice and quick as well. Alright, we'll put that there just in case. And we're going to use red belt for this. And we want that connected. Am I going to be able to get this into this one? If I bring the belt in and I split it, so right here, then I can send this in that way, and then I can send this one over that way. Now that's going to be on the top side of that belt. And so I need it on this side of the belt. Okay. So then if we do this, we can basically bring that up right through here. come right through here. Now that's going to be on the wrong side of that belt. We're going to manipulate this just a little. That'll make sure it goes on the right side of the belt, which is not doing that, but that should be fine because it's going to use the bottom side of that one anyways before it's going to use what's on the top. So that should keep both of them from running unless we don't have any coming in from down here. And let's see, why is this now not running? Because we have to get our water out, which is understandable. Alright, so we've got our water. Take a look up here at our return system. So we have water here, which is coming from our main, and then this is our return system, and then this is what's going out to other things. So we need to run this pipe, this pipe down, which we'll just do here, and we'll run it through here. Have to make a few more of those. And that will take care of our return water system. And we'll just do this. And we can do that to jump it over there. And that'll give us all the sulfur we should need for quite some time. And it looks like our kerosene solid fuel is doing well over here, so I think we might just do, yeah, I think what we're going to do here is we're going to bring this in over there, and we'll let it fill up that other side when that one is not running. So that'll turn this off when this belt is completely full, which we probably should do a thing here. That will force feed up onto that side, since these are all using off that one side of the belt. And that'll take care of that now. So we have our acid gas being used. Our petroleum gas will be used when we need more plastic. Our heavy oil is being taken care of, and our kerosene is being used. So the only thing holding us up right now is our petroleum gas, which is good, because that's one of the main things that we actually need. Everything else is just kind of byproduct-y at this point. But we now have one new oil process done. We have another one on its way. So this was our basic kerosene. This is our advanced, which is kerosene and light oil with water. And then this is the one we're currently using, which is 180 to 80-20 80-20. And then the sulfur based, which we already did, which will be putting sulfur in with the crude oil, which will give us 95, 75, 80, and 20. So by putting 3 sulfur in, we will be getting 15 more petroleum gas, a lot more acid gas, the same kerosene, and the same heavy oil. Now, technically, I don't know why the petroleum gas will get boosted instead of the kerosene, since kerosene does have sulfur in it, but petroleum gas is a basic hydrocarbon that is just hydrogen and carbon. I guess in this it's used to make sulfur, so maybe. And then we also have, this is heavy, light, and petroleum. And then we have this one, which is the one we're currently researching, that'll be done in a minute, which is putting crushed coal in, which gives us less petroleum gas, 10 more acid, 5 less kerosene, but way more heavy oil. And then I thought there was one other one, but I don't see that one in here yet. Because isn't there... Yeah, this one, carbon-based kerosene. Oh, okay. So that's kerosene processing. So depending on what we need, depends on which one of those we would actually use. And I think for right now, we're probably going to stick with this one. But we could make a second one. Now I'm forgetting what I just looked at. So the carbon-based one gives us way more heavy oil, but it's still going to give us a pretty good amount of petroleum gas. And petroleum gas is what we're kind of stuck on at the moment, because of the fact that we have everything over here being cracked down to give us more petroleum if we're low on it. But none of them should turn on if we're keeping everything, if we're keeping it full on it. So I do think we're going to get rid of these here. That way this one can run. And then maybe we'll set up the sulfur one, since the sulfur one is going to give us extra of the sulfur gas. I'm thinking that's actually going to be net positive on the sulfur, actually. Because you're only putting 3 in and you're getting 75 out. And you only use 10 to make 1 sulfur. So that's 30 gas to make the sulfur you're going to put back into this. And you're going from 20 to 75. So by putting that little bit of sulfur in here, we're going to get way more acid gas out and extra of our petroleum. These two stay the same. So I actually don't know why we wouldn't go with this one versus the regular one, since it's giving us these two, which are the main ones that we use. So let's go ahead and switch this over to this one, and we already have our sulfur coming through here. When it can run, why are you not running? You're full on water because we're not using enough water at the moment. Well, that's one reason that we're going to have a problem, because this is not even using as much water as we're getting out of that, which means we could void it. That is an option. Or we could send this up to be used in our processing plant and our hydro plant up here, because we have our hydro plants here that should be using a pretty decent amount of water. And currently we have our main coming in here, which is then pumping water out to be used here. We could actually take this one and run our water in here, which will then get sent up into here for being used for hydro power and cleaning. And let's see, I think we should probably also change these over from coal and use those on the fuel that we're making down there as well. So we're not using all our coal for just that. Plus it's more efficient. Way more fuel value out of these. Alright, so I think I'm going to work on that. We'll definitely have to, if we're going to use this for making our power up there, we're definitely going to have to get more of this fuel getting made, which currently we only have these 3. But like I said, I should be able to put some more of them. Well, now we got a kerosene mine in there, but I can put a few more of them across this way. And I wanted to keep this for that, but I think I'll just stretch them out there, so we can just put them across like that, and that will help a bit. So before I get done today, we are going to this set up to pull our sulfur off of the line and remove this. Yeah, let's go ahead and do one of those, and then I'll just put that there. And then we need to get this water dealt with. So we have our return line coming up here. So we're just going to run, where is this water coming in from? That's coming in from here, which is coming in from here, which is coming in from there. Okay, let me look at something here before I go deciding exactly what I'm going to do. That is going to be a lot of pipes. We need water to make concrete. Then we have our purifying. that's our pressurized. Okay, I don't know if I'm using it for that. I need to check that. Make sure that's not using it from our main line. That as well. Okay. Run back down here real quick. So this here is coming in from there, which is coming in from our tank. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and just run this up. I'll have to make some more pipes, and I'll run that into our water tank up here that's being used for our pressurized water and our oil processing. And that should take care of our excess water problems, so we're not just having to avoid it. I hate voiding things, especially when we're just pumping it up anyways. The more I can reprocess it, the better. But I will go ahead and leave you guys here, and we'll come back and set up the... Well, actually, since I've looked at... We'll probably take a look at this carbon-based kerosene next time, and that may get rid of this here. But we'll see. If not, we'll mess with the crusher and making that glass stuff. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you next time.